Delegates are bracing themselves for the 9th Northwest Provincial Conference amid a court interdict that prohibits IPC members from voting. The conference is set to start any moment now. Our reporters Refilwe Soboko and Pelane Phakgadi are covering the conference for us. But first, let's start with Refilwe. Now, Refilwe, it's been a very busy morning with registration still happening. Are we set to start with the conference at 3 o'clock?
Hopefully, any minute now, like you said, we are hearing the mood of delegates walking into the Rustenburg Civic Center, and also we are here with the MEC of Economic Development in the Northwest, She's also the candidate for the chairperson position in this conference in the Northwest. Let me welcome her. MEC, thank you so much for your time and welcome to Newzroom Afrika. It must be nerve-wracking, especially looking at the delays and stuff. How has the build-up and the campaign to this day been like for you?
I think it has been a very long time since the establishment of the IPC, so it's about time that Northwest branches and members of the ANC have an opportunity to elect its own leaders. And we have arrived at that point now where the conference is about to start. And I think, yes, it has been very difficult, even me serving in the structure. But what is important is that we have branches of the ANC in the province, and now they have an opportunity to make their choice, who must then take the province forward.
We can see that delegates are walking in and starting to, I'm taking that the conference will officially open. What are you hoping for, even after this conference, for the province?
What we are hoping for, that the outcome of the conference or even the deliberation in conference must be the deliberations that will take the province forward. We must understand the challenges that the ANC is confronted with, both in the country and in the province. And considering our historic challenges that we have been through, what is it that we must do to carry the ANC and to improve the electoral outcome, because there has been a district decline in terms of the electoral performance. So we have a huge task to restore confidence of the people in the ANC. So that is what is fundamental, and the unity of the ANC and the renewal project, that's what must come out of this conference. Even the election of leadership, even our discussion in terms of policy must be very clear that it reflects unity and renewal at the end.
And how confident are you that you will become victorious and eventually be the chairperson of the ANC in the Northwest? What are you planning for the province should it happen that you become the chairperson of the ANC in the province?
Remember, the conference is the conference of delegates from different branches. It is the wishes of the branches that is what is important, and that all members of the ANC ultimately must embrace the outcome, and we must hear the voice of the delegates. They have mandate from their respective branches on who to elect, and what will be important is what the delegate says, and who is elected here will not serve the interest or lead alone, will lead with a collective of the leadership, and they will get a mandate in terms of policy outcome of what the direction should be in the province. So that is basically what is at the center of everything in terms of the outcome. It's guided by the branches of the ANC and the deliberations that will ensue from a policy point of view. And that will be ultimately the victory if we can see a success of the conference, a conference that produces leadership, a conference that emerges united, and that provides a clear direction on how are we going to consolidate the ground to ensure victory for the ANC in 2024.
Your thoughts on the court ruling that was done yesterday, that the IPC members, as you are the member of the IPC, should not vote in this conference?
I think the ANC leadership have expressed itself through an official statement has been issued. I think we must leave it to the leadership of the ANC and also the national leadership to guide us on the issue of the court process.
Thank you so much for your time. MEC for the Department of Economic Development in the Northwest, she's also the candidate in the chairperson position of the ANC in that conference. I'm going to ask my colleague Zalake to show you the hall had been empty for some time. Now we have seen a couple of delegates that have walked in. We are hopeful, Katlego, that conference will be starting off. We also heard they were saying that the deputy president, who is supposed to be opening officially this conference, has asked that delegates must start walking in and make sure that the official opening of the conference starts so that the process can unfold. However, as you can see, it's only a limited number of delegates that have walked in, and the mood behind me, and there are those that are still outside, and they are yet to make their way inside the Rustenburg Civic Center.
All right, thank you. That is Refilwe, our reporter out in the Northwest, where we are seeing delegates are trickling in 200 or just over 200 branches that will be taking part in that conference. We are now heading off to Olympia Park Stadium in Rustenburg, and that is where we find Newzroom Afrika's Pelane Phakgadi. Pelane, what's the latest on your side?
Well, as far as we are concerned, this side, the registration is almost done. We've seen that a number of delegates who are coming in their numbers are claiming that there has been a stall as far as the process is concerned. It seems like there is at least some light at the end of the tunnel, and they will be able to conclude their work in not so long. And as we currently wait, of course, just a few more delegates to go, a few more branches, then they should be able to join in at the Civic Center where Rustenburg is, and to give you that sense that they will then be able to move to that as a delegate, so that they can also be form part of that particular process. But what we do know, that I think we've been hearing not only about the IPC, the decision by the High Court to really ensure that the IPC does not come out to be voting delegates. There's also those talks that you heard Pelane talking about, that there are intentions to interdict the proceedings of the whole conference as a whole, and even some claiming that it has issues that go back as far as 2018. Remember, there was an outcome, a court outcome, that said that there should be a reinstatement of the Provincial Executive Committee at the time that was led by Pelo, that was of course removed unceremoniously, so because there were a number of protests that were to do with service delivery, anti-Pelo protest at the time. And at this moment, at that moment rather, there was a court outcome that said there must be reinstatement. It could be that should there be any filing of papers to try and interdict this particular conference, then it could lead to matters arising as far back as 2018 to try and halt the proceedings of this very conference. But for now, as things stand, as you heard Pelane earlier on speaking to our colleague Rustenburg, is that the program will continue. The Deputy President of the African National Congress will give those opening remarks to ensure that the kickstart, the operations of the 9th Provincial Elective Conference of the African National Congress here in Mpumalanga, and usher in, of course, the talks about the unity that they were speaking about. But if there are court interdicts, I doubt that gives and feeds in a narrative that talks about the unity and the renewal of the African National Congress that they seek to have at least post this particular conference. I mean, you've seen about 4 or 5 names just campaigning for the chairpersonship of the African Congress here in the Northwest. And in that regard, the question of whether it is democracy or it is the disunity and the failure to bring about the leaders of the ANC to agree on their own leadership terms and their own names, perhaps that is a question that one needs to be asking. But for now, the registration process here is about to conclude.
All right, thank you for that update. That is our reporter Pelane Phakgadi, who is also in the Northwest, where registrations are being concluded, and we are hoping to see that the conference will get underway any minute from now. Now on